Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So we've gotten so many comments on the previous topic. I wanted to move on to another juicy topic, but I'd like to take the comments that we've gotten on the previous topic. Even Nima sent us a comment just now that she said that sadly she lost a friend last night, that her friend was abandoned for 20 years by her husband with 4 children alone. The man ran away with another woman who he later abandoned with 3 children as well, came back to meet her when she was already infirm. She was sick. And the man stayed with her until the woman died. The woman died in pain. The woman suffered to death. So stories like this it's very heartbreaking. So when we hear these kind of sad stories, it just make you feel like, don't accept anybody, don't be abandoned, move on with your life. But what's the comments you have, BC and
Yes, I have a few comments. Before I take the comments, I know we are done with this topic. I think many men who just up and leave know that or expect that their wives will take them back. That's why they up and leave. There are certain wives that they have that they cannot try it.
Because they know
as you are upping and leaving, from there
don't go.
The woman don't go. So those men are more careful to just feel a certain way and carry their bag and go. Even if they want to have an aside, they do it with utmost respect for their wives. You will not, because they know this woman will not take this nonsense.
A man called yesterday. He said that when his wife called him out he admitted that he was doing something, that his wife found out what he was doing, and his wife called him out. And because he respects his wife so much,
he shut it down.
He shut down what he was doing straight up.
Immediately.
He shut it down.
So they know the kind of women they can do
try
that
it with.
Yes, and I feel it's a certain age in men. That midlife crisis, men should recognize it and
don't misbehave.
Yes, and start, looking for ways to, so that when that situation
women should be giving them word.
Yes, when
try anyhow.
You see anyhow. So I have messages here. Bisi Olabisi says the side chick that carried him away has stopped giving him companionship. Truth is truth says, why is this thing living now?
She has moved on.
Let me take Ade. Ade called in from Ikeja. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Ade.
Yes, good morning, ladies. Yes, that's good for this morning.
Go ahead, you're live.
Yes, I think this is a very interesting topic, and I want to look at it from the perspective of individuals. I think we'll always speak from our experience.
Yeah.
So experience of BC is different from experience of Tokwe.
Yeah.
True. And experience of Tokwe is different from experience of Ramatu and the other beautiful lady, Ms. Ramatu.
Muyo.
So I have to say that we've seen a lot of situations where men, I live in the U.S., I've seen a situation where, especially our brother from the Eastern part, they will bring ladies to the U.S., train them through the nursing school, everything for them, and at the end of the day, they will leave them. Maybe after going around, and they'll still mess up, and the guy will still come back and still take them. So we've seen a lot of situations. And that is why I'm saying that our society sometimes is not being fair to the men.
Yeah.
It looks like the men have to be the alpha and omega. The man has to do everything for the women. I was listening to you guys yesterday. I couldn't get through yesterday, and I quite, appreciate the men. We live in a world where sometimes we, the men, we take care of everything. We never have to care of ourselves. And when we have a little thing, a little happen, it's like, no, we need to look at it from the perspective of God created man and woman. We need to be as supportive as the man is. It should be.
So sorry, the network is going in and out, but we got the gist, and he gave us a different perspective. And I've heard those stories, but you know the thing, we remember the stories that are sympathetic towards women more than the stories sympathetic towards men. I've heard this story because he said something that a lot of men bring women, their wives to the US, send them through nursing school. The women make money and their eyes sharp, and they leave and come back to the man.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's what he said, and I've heard those stories, not once, not twice.
And the men
accept them back. They come back. They actually do.
Talk now. How
because it's not something. It's not empowering. It's not an empowering story for the men, so they don't really like talking about it. Yes, it's not empowering for the men, but men actually have accepted back women who abandoned them, who left them for years when they were making the money.
Statistics and data.
Plenty.
That's
over there. over there.
abroad,
There are plenty. Unlike here, this here favors a lot more men being quickly moving on. So I get that story. And he was also talking about the fact that men do a whole lot and make a lot of sacrifices for women. So you were going to take more comments, right?
Yes, I have. Do you have? Are you ready?
Yes, Moyo.
Moyo, you can go.
Okay, here, Blessing Aina says, forgiveness is not automatic self. You can't force it down people's throats, which is true. So you need to forgive at your own time pace. And someone sent message, just reason, said the powerful people and women exploited women to commit our sweat in one place, but allowed the women to calculate and enjoy the sweat at a time of their own choosing. Okay, I don't understand how this aligns with our... Here, this one says, truth is true, said, until you face reality, that is when you will know the decision to take. True.
Yeah. Corey Michael says, which woman will wait for 5 years without a man? These women of our time, they play. Blessing Aina says, it's the way we expect women to just accept anything in marriage. It's quite annoying.
Okay. So at this point, we need to move into another phase because thanks to the caller, I spoke about forgiving a spouse that has been you're exchanged from. So you got exchanged from a spouse, and your ability to forgive and welcome them back into your life, and that is forgiveness. There is a particular story that trended on X, where a lady killed her ex-boyfriend, the new girlfriend, and 3 other people. She poisoned them, trying to poison her ex-boyfriend. She thought the ex-boyfriend was the only one that was going to eat the soup. She made pepper soup, and this happened in Auchi, Edo State. She made pepper soup for her ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend now shared the pepper soup with his current girlfriend and 3 friends. All of them ate and all of them died.
Hi.
So now 5 people died due to the inability of one person to forgive completely. They said, oh, she was served breakfast. The comments trail under the story now showed the fact that another person said, I've also experienced this, where the ex-person who is married visited the person and the other room happened. He sat down to eat noodles and the noodle was poisoned. That's how the man started vomiting blood and died. So obviously, there are many stories like this, and I don't know if you have any of such stories. You can call us, the number is on the screen out there, or share it to us on Facebook or, on YouTube or on Twitter, x.com. And we'd love to have your own opinion on these unforgiveness stories and how the unforgiveness stories have led to the death of people getting poisoned because they cannot move on. Before we get your opinion, let me take a story, a phone call from Sukomi. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Sukomi. We can hear you.
Yeah, good morning, please. This is Sukomi calling from the place. Yeah, I want to thank you, Doctor, for trying to balance the things there. But what I see is just emotion. When we want to join this kind of talk, I think we should always try to balance it. Men are really giving their best. Men are really trying. Especially, you need to go. You need to hear from the world outside. The ladies and the other women outside, the other folks. The way they talk about Nigerian men, if we are not good at home, why are we good outside? They are talking about how we are brought up. We are a product of women, of our mothers. But I think what is killing and what is really pathetic is that we are being over-civilized. And civility is killing many things. It's killing us. We need to face it. Our children are coming. Some people are coming to learn from us. We are not giving the way our mothers sacrificed. I could talk about my mother on and on and on, and what my father did. Yes, I'm here. I'm still facing another story.
But why do we want... Please, let me ask you a question. I know you know that I've balanced this show, so please, let me just ask you this question. Do you think that men are... You said you can talk about your mother and how your mother sacrificed, even despite what your father did. But your sisters, too, would have seen the sacrifices your mother did. Do you think your sisters would want to experience those same pain that your mother probably went through? They probably...
She's not even on the good side. That's what I'm saying. She's not on the good side. She's not in the country. And each time I talk to her, I felt like this lady will need a very strong mental, a kind of man that can handle her. Otherwise, he's gone. Sometimes there are some ladies, there are some women, you know, who will need a very active and a very sound man and mind to be able to handle and to manage them. Because the way I see her, you know, this one is another story. So I just want to say that sacrifice.
All right, thank you, Anthony. So let me explain what he said. He said that he acknowledged that we tried to balance the show, and he said his mom, if he starts talking about the stories about his mom went through a whole lot, but the mom endured. That our girls of nowadays are not willing to endure the way our mothers endured, and that he has good stories to tell about his mom, that the endurance paid off, right? But I now asked him that would him is seeing the woman has endured and the endurance paid off.
How did he know?
Sister, is the sister willing to endure the same thing she saw? Because from the sister's perspective, like, it can be suffering. And he acknowledges that the sister right now is very, very strong, very hard, that it will take a strong man to handle her because
Imagine.
her eyes are open. So here is the thing I want men to understand. A lot of women that you see now as being brash, they saw their mothers suffer, and while you might see the mother and think she waited and she enjoyed, the parents the girls are seeing it as she waited, she suffered all through her life, and probably the enjoyment is like 2% of the suffer. And they don't want to do it. So that's why they seem to be more hardened and unwilling to go through the endurance.
So why can't the men just focus on behaving well?
Behaving well, exactly.
Behaving well.
Okay, Tokwe, can I say something? There's this story I have. There's this
lady serving breakfast to the women.
There's this story I have. You know, people always say karma. Sometimes karma doesn't work. It wastes time before it will happen. It wastes a lot of time. There's this family that I know. The wife was having issues with the husband. Of course, it has something to do with all this side chick. Was always going out and all. So she left the house. She left the house with the intention that the guy will come and beg. The guy never came to beg. She left the children with him. The new wife came in. She came in, and those children stopped going to the school that they were going to, that they were paying money. They started going to LEA, earlier of that time.
Free school.
You know, and all. So that one came. She gave birth to her children. She gave birth to children. They sent those children abroad. The other woman, her kids that she left, now she had 2 boys and a girl. The girl became practically like a prostitute. The 2 boys, you know, started...
The father didn't take care of them?
No. The new wife came and said, no, please, why are you wasting money? Her own children, he sent them abroad. They went to the best schools in the US there. One is an engineer.
So
they are doing very well.
Did not catch this one.
Didn't catch. In fact, the kids are doing very, very well.
So at the end of that,
honestly,
you know,
because we always assume karma should come in a certain type of way. God does not see it like that.
The caller took us out for the story of the poison, and we've heard several stories of poison, poisoning that happens. So there are different angles to this story. So this young girl tried to poison her ex. The ex served that one person. But unfortunately, the ex is a very generous person and shared the food with plenty others, and all of them died. So now and this is not the first time. So what I want to even discuss is it right for the ex to collect food? You have broken up with someone. Should you still be collecting food from that person? If you have broken up from someone, should you still be going to the other room with that person? You have broken up with someone. You have married. You now go and say you want to go and chop one with the other person.
And claim out.
And then you came out and you're now vomiting blood. You now blame the person that you broke up with. How do we handle...
First of all, let's start from the root of the problem. Let's not take it to the surface. Yes, the heartbreak, which is a normal phenomenon. It will happen. If you don't collect it in your 20s, you collect it in your 30s, you collect it in your 40s.
It's a breakfast everybody eats.
Everybody will breakfast. You can't
collect it inside marriage.
Yes. So, but the crux of this matter is, how do we deal with heartbreak? Especially because this person is young. They are young people who have a whole life ahead of them. How do we begin to teach young people to handle heartbreak? Because it will happen. You can't avoid it. How do we teach people to begin to handle rejection? Rejection is a normal part of life. The way some people here will accept you, other people here will reject you. Those are the issues. Now, if a young lady or a young man is able to understand that this is a passing phase, I know it hurts me, but I will process the emotion. So what we see most of the time is certain things like this happen, and people don't process the emotion. They use other things to cover that emotion. And that's why the very easy emotion is anger and jealousy. and revenge. They are easier emotions than to sit down with yourself and deal with the pain of being rejected. So let's encourage people to deal with the pain of being rejected because it will pass. These two shall pass. It will be for a moment.
One person rejected you,
exactly.
Another person will celebrate
now,
you.
This person rejecting you may be rejecting you because the person is not the right fit for you. Have you even thought about it? So it rejects you now, you process it, you ease into meeting somebody who would value you. You know, in the university at the time when I started having a relationship, one of my friends, her heart was shattered. Like the way she loved this guy. Her heart was pieces, shattered. She was, for months, she was still going to beg, going to cry, accept me, whatever you want, I will do.
I don't understand that kind of...
No, you never love, you go see love, you may not be able to hold yourself. And this was a very beautiful, intelligent girl at the time. So she begged, cried, blah, 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 blah. Everything took like 8 months. The guy still insisted on, I'm done with you, I'm done with you. So we had to sit her down, the committee of friends. And we said,
look at the mirror.
This is over.
Move on.
Dust yourself. Tell yourself that you will meet better. Before we left that school, she married before all of us now. She met a bloke.
Correct.
A bloke that was worshiping
her. Correct.
So we now started comparing. I said, hey, that's brother.
That you were crying and you want to die yourself.
If they say, oh, yeah, choose, which one will you take? He said, thank God he left, though. Thank God he left, though. So we always see life on hindsight. We see the essence of what we're supposed to experience on hindsight. So if you teach people to be able to process, the pain is... we don't like pain. Painful. That's the truth. It's very painful. We don't like pain. We don't like the tears. We don't like to cry. We don't like to feel bad. We don't like to feel like, what did I do? It's not about what you did. It's about the fact that this life, this relationship you have with this person has ended at the end of the road. Yeah.
End of discussion. Move on. Let me take Barry. Welcome to the show. Good morning, Barry. Sorry we kept you waiting for long. All the way from Rivers.
Wow, so great. Love. Congratulations for this very inspired discussion.
Okay.
I've been a very friendly listener to TVC News. And for several approach, especially this one you people are deliberating on, it's a life-touching issue. It's an issue that is anchored on the man and the marriage, the woman and the marriage. So looking at it as our institutions, you know the children especially have been victims of these circumstances. And one thing we have realized is the issue that real love is one thing that people don't consider, especially in relationships. It has come to an era where commercialization is one aspect. You see the woman associating with somebody whose marriage has failed. The man associating with a man whose marriage has failed. What will you expect? And I think when you live, when you don't endure, when you don't forgive the minute instances that is happening in relationship, by the time you know, look at what is on the screen there. A man left the marriage for 10 years, came in on wheelchair. Well, that could be an accident, should be natural. Actually, if he was in the marriage and something happened, I believe that the passionate nature of the wife, he too would have accepted him. So it's an issue of concern. It's an issue. You know, some culture, when people who get married sometimes and migrated or apostate, just like in the church, you will feel sometimes not comfortable. You think you go into another church. By the time you see the doctrine of that place, you will not be comfortable with it. How you see come back, the church will still accept you. This is passions and forgiveness on the last stage.
Forgiveness.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Say if you can go to the last example he gave was people go to a church and they find the church is not conducive for them. They go to another church and find out that other one is worse off when they hear the doctrine. And they come back to the church and the church accepts them. But you know, the church is not human.
Exactly.
The church is
the church's
God.
heart was not broken when you left.
So, you know, this just...
BC was spoke about heartbreak and dealing with heartbreak. Yeah. And I know that we tend to find it easy to point towards the men when the men do something wrong. In this case, in majority of the stories that we've seen that came under the trail of that story, women actually do horrible things when they are heartbroken.
Yeah.
And must call ourselves out for what we do. We women, a few of the women, when they are heartbroken, they do things, poison, beats, pouring, like crazy things that people do. when they are heartbroken, and how do we help women to deal with heartbreak so that they are not venting and, in this case, sadly, leading to the loss of
Killing people.
5 people.
There's no, the anger is understandable, but we have to understand the rage or the effect of jealousy and anger. And anger is justifiable, but the violence that she applied, there's no justification for that one at all. Let's even put that one. Then the age, the said lady is 16 or 17.
Hey.
At that age, she has not even seen half of the men. She has not even met half of the men that she will even meet in her lifetime. I'm telling you, we all are faced. We have eaten breakfast now. You understand? The highest.
You have not. Aren't you lucky?
The highest. Normally, you will be jealous, of course, that he has found somebody else and all that. But at the end of the day, after a few months, you would even be, even when you now even find your God-given person, you even wonder, what did I even see in that guy that is making me want to even cry and die and everything? That one that even has this kind of something. You will now be seeing faults in it.
You'll be seeing all the faults of the person.
So, and I'm just even wondering why the guy would even collect pepper soup from his ex.
Exactly.
That you
Somebody
left.
that you
Let's
love.
not victim shame.
Yes,
I am going to support the man in this case because when
that
somebody
a goodbye meal?
No, hold on. When somebody they slap person and in domestic violence cases, we always say don't ask what the woman did.
That's true.
Understand the fact that it's not justifiable. So if we broke up and in my mind I've explained to you about why I broke up, what happened, and I've moved on. It's not my fault that you did not move on. And I've forgiven and I've moved on. You now gave me pepper soup. With free mind, I can collect from you. It's not you can't blame the victim.
For the next
we are not going to blame the man. We blame the woman. We blame the woman. We blame the woman.
For the next person that is planning this thing, so that people know that they should not collect pepper soup.
So, yes, don't collect this. There was one that it was noodles that killed the person. Then there is pepper soup. So now, don't be collecting from X. Let me take Paul, who has called into the show, before we continue with the non-collecting and blaming the people that are cooking Orishirishi together. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Paul, Dr. Paul from Abuja. Thank you.
Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the topic. It's a beautiful one. And I thank you for bringing this kind of thing up. But I will, before I make my comment, I will suggest respectfully.
We can't hear you well. It's a bit of a struggle. Can you speak up a bit more, or maybe they will just increase the volume?
I want to say thank you for the topic. It is very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you for the topic.
Yes, fantastic. We can hear you now.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, so, and I want to thank you for it, but I want to suggest, even before I make my comment, that when such a topic comes up, I would have expected that you should invite a psychiatrist or a psychologist to speak with you. No. You see, it's a ladies' program. It's understandable. Many of the views here have been anti-men. We are doctors, and so we can tell you that men are actually at the receiving end, not the women. And that's the honest truth. You see, you talk about breakup. If you look at the history of breakup and incidences of breakup, many ladies abandoned the men who suffered, who cared, who provided for them, and then looked with somebody else. Now, the man suffers daily. For your sister, you are asked to sacrifice. For your girlfriend, you will sacrifice. For your wife, you will sacrifice. Even for your mother, you will sacrifice. That's the life of a man. We all have experiences, and the experience is such that it is not friendly to the male gender. And like you already pointed out in the hospitals, we take care of patients. And many of the wives of these patients, they are abroad in Canada, US, Germany, UK, and the men are suffering, abandoned and left alone. And the worst thing that really happens is for men who were faithful, who gave all for their families. You know what it takes to take care of your children abroad, train them, do that. It's not for the poor man. But what now happens is that the man, at the end of the day, is left alone. It's natural for children to be closer to their mother. Their mother. It's natural. Because
Thank you so much, sir.
They're struggling.
Thank you so much, sir. We wanted to hear this opinion because I know that people tend to see things from their own lens and point of view. So it was good to hear a man's opinion and perspective. And I have seen those kind of stories as well, where men are abandoned, even though they were very responsible and all of that. And we're going to just call out people that do that. Please, there's no justification for abandoning your family members or abandoning your fathers and your mothers. We should be responsible. And if we do the statistics, even though women have been served breakfast, if men come out to tell you their story, men say don't chop. They have chopped. They have eaten intercontinental breakfast. They've been heartbroken a lot more time because women are the object of admiration.
Smiling.
And now, because she said she has served some people breakfast. You know, women are the object of admiration. They are the ones being courted. And so some people are courting you and you're giving them like, I'm not doing, who do you think you are to come and talk to a girl like me? Like, you know, we've given all those things and the men have had to, you know, brace up to the reality of life. So I love what Muya was saying concerning the importance of letting people see that one breakup is not the end of your life. One breakup is just a journey, and never, ever, ever consider poison or carrying out grievous bodily harm to someone who hurt you because you cannot deal with the emotion. Please do not commit suicide because you cannot deal with the emotion. Some people, it is suicide they carry out because they cannot deal with the emotion of heartbreak. Seek help, talk to someone, get a counselor, and don't murder and don't kill yourself. That's what we can take on these topics regarding relationship and all of that. We have a celebrity joining us, someone who's thriving in the gospel music industry. We'll take a break. When we return, you'll be joining us right away. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.